Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, publisher of Aspire Magazine, the beloved inspirational digital magazine for women since 2006. I am passionate about bringing you conversations that lift your spirits, elevate your mindset, and remind you of the truth of who you are. Joining me today is someone we've been connected with. I've been connected with on Facebook for quite a while. And just always loved her messaging and said, I got to get her on the show. So Cheryl Melody Baskin, you'll hear me calling her Melody quite a bit in the show because that's what she prefers, has a passion for inspiring people to live with more moments of optimism, gratitude, inner peace, healing, manifesting their dreams, and walking the path of love, even in the midst of challenges, which we all experience at one time or another in our lives. She believes that healing and peace from the inside out leads to the ultimate healing and peace of our world. And by shifting our minds and hearts to healing and love, we can actually help create a new positive story for all of humanity. Melody is an author, recipient of a silver medal for her book, Heart Dreamer, from readersfavorite.com. She's an intuitive life coach, peace and spirituality educator, musician, motivational speaker, sound healer, and also the recipient of a Life Achievement Award from the Visioneers International Network. Her books include Peace Dreamer, A Journey of Hope in Bad Times and Good, Heart Dreamer, Stepping into Life, Love, Creativity, and Dreams, No Matter What, and Shift of Heart, Paths to Healing and Love. I got to tell you that multi-talented woman here. She's a musician and has 9 award-winning albums with positive messages for adults and children. And how we met was she's the founder, moderator, and intuitive life coach of Shift of Heart, a Facebook community of love, support, and hope. Welcome, Melody.
Thank you so much, and for that introduction. My goodness, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I first connected with you and started following you is through the Shift of Heart Facebook community, which is just a beautiful place to be, a beautiful place to tap into. So let's go back a little bit. Like, was there a pivotal moment in your life that led to this passion and path that you're on now?
Well, in regards to Shift of Heart, I think I'll focus on that for a second. I was feeling alone in the world, kind of with the way I think, my desire to bring the vibration of peace more into the world and into myself, and helping other people do it as well. And I was reading Facebook and things you can do, and I saw, oh, you can build your own community. I didn't know that. This was maybe 3 years ago. And I decided to create one and call it by the name of my very first book, Shift of Heart, Paths to Healing and Love. I have to spell shift, S-H-I-F-T, because some people might misunderstand the word when I say it. And it has been probably the most satisfying endeavor I've ever embraced. And you don't charge anything, obviously, but it's so satisfying to my soul because I feel like I'm creating the kind of world I've always imagined and wanted. And the group keeps growing. I think we have close to 1,000 now. And anyone listening, please, you're welcome to join. Just type in Shift of Heart on Facebook, And it will be a delight to have your vibration lift us all. We're just, I call it an island of peace. It's really a place where people can feel accepted and respected and shine their wisdom. And I leave videos of life coaching, intuitive life coaching, and positive affirmations and deep questions. I enjoy talking about the weather, I have to admit, but I do love talking about deeper things as well. And I wasn't able to find a lot of people in my life that like to do that kind of thing. And on here, we are able to do that. So it's just wonderful to have this kind of heart-centered, I don't even want to call it a project. It's just there. And I kind of feel like a combination of Earth Mother and intuitive life coach and Dear Abby. I don't know if you remember Dear Abby, but when I was a kid, I really liked her, and I fancied myself like her. Like I would always be the type of person that would listen to people's problems and try to help them. And so, anyway, it's really seems like a very meaningful kind of thing to do, and I truly do love it. I think social media gets a lot of bad raps, and it can be pretty bad, but it can also be an excellent platform for good and for raising the vibration, and that's what I use it for, and I'm grateful to have that platform.
Yeah, it's all about intention, right?
Yes.
Wherever you focus your energy, if you're looking for the bull on social media, that's what you're going to find. I
Right.
look for the love, I look for the light, I look for the community, and your shift of heart does just that. So it sounds like the shift of heart community supports and loves you up as much as you love up everyone else.
Well, I guess it's a it's a mutual kind of thing. I do feel appreciated and respected, and it's wonderful. I just really just channel whatever comes through me, and if someone asks a question, or I just feel like there's something I need to say today. A lot of times the things that I need to write about are things that I need to hear as well, or I need to heal as well. And I know that I'm not alone with my thoughts and feelings. I've always known that people think they're the only ones that feel something. And that's what causes this terrible rift of loneliness and suicide and all of that. And I've always believed I'm not alone with my feelings, and
It's
so
true.
I want to make people feel less alone, whether I'm doing leading Shift of Heart, or writing my books, or singing my songs that I've created. It's all about helping people feel less lonely and more connected, more
It's
in their hearts.
such a beautiful mission. So we have a few minutes before we take our first break. What led you to write your first book? Was it from that same desire that you just explained about, the reason behind the community? You just felt led to share your message?
Well, it was, I had done music all my life and taught music to little children. I had my own school, and then I decided to make recordings. And of course, I was raising my kids. And then all of a sudden, I just it was a crazy thing. I just looked around the house and I said, you know what? My kids are grown, and I have a lot I really have inside me I want to share. And I think I'm going to write a book. And it was kind of an easy endeavor in some ways, not always, but I just put my voice recorder on, and I just verbalized what was inside me to share. Everything from transformational tools and chakra balancing, to transformational stories, that kind of thing. And it's a small book. It's kind of like the little engine that could, a small but mighty book. Then somebody said it's like getting a big hug. but it has a lot of good, solid stuff that I have since expanded in my other books that are much longer. But it was just the timing, and I just verbalized on the voice recorder everything I want to say. And then I wrote it all down and, of course, edited it, and suddenly it was a book. And so it was the right timing. And one of the things I've always been able to do is listen to my inner voice. Sometimes I push it away, but most of the time I listen and really pay attention to it. And I heard, write a book. So,
yeah.
it's time to write a book. And so I did. And
I love that message, because a lot of the topics that we cover on the show is, learning to listen to your inner wisdom and your divine guidance, because we all have that connection to it. It's learning to listen, because it's always leading us to our next best step. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story, Melody. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment. I invite you to visit CherylMelody.com to learn more about Melody's work, her transformational, loving, supportive books, and everything else she is up to. So we'll be back in a moment.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Inspiration for a Woman's Soul. Aspire Magazine, inspiring and supporting women on the path of self-discovery. Claim your free digital subscription today, which includes access to thousands of dollars of personal development bonus gifts from Team Inspiration partners. Claim your Aspire Magazine subscription today at subscribetoaspire.com.
Hey America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTRFM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspire Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and with me today is Cheryl Melody, author of many books, including Hot Dreamer, which we were just talking about, that won a silver medal from readersfavorite.com. So it sounds like your books come through you. You know, some people write from their head. This sounds like it was a passion project. You just knew you had a message to share, which is so beautiful. You just shared why you wrote them. What's transpired since you wrote your first book? Did you notice that following that nudge to write a book led you, and directed you down a path?
Well, when I wrote that first book, the main thing is I wanted that book to come alive in the form of human beings and how they actually respond and connect and go within. And so that's why I created the Facebook community with the same title as that book, Shift of Heart, Paths to Healing and Love. And so for me, that was the best outcome of that book, because it's a living, breathing reflection of what that book is. The the other books, Heart Dreamer, I wrote several years later, and that was a book that I felt it's quite a large, substantive book. I've always been a dreamer since I was a little girl, and I want to encourage the dreams inside other people and be their cheerleader and give them transformational tools and how to help them get out of their own way. And I wanted to help people who have forgotten their dreams along the way because of practical things or discouragement, fear of failure. And I wanted to help people who have never had a dream, who are so practical and never, and maybe not in their imaginations. It's just, that's not the type of person they are. And I wanted to share everything I know about being a dreamer and how to get there. And that book is, it just came from the depths of me, and I just worked night and day. And then Peace Dreamer, A Journey of Hope, Bad Times and Good, I wrote during the pandemic. I thought I was going to, I don't know, read, watch movies, something like that during the pandemic, especially during the quarantine. But a voice, again, an inner voice said to write a book. And I was, like lots of people, full of emotions during that time. And I needed an outlet. So I started to write a book, not really thinking it was going to be something I would publish. But in doing that book, I got into a very deep sense of spirituality and got to know the deeper meaning of love and the deeper meaning of peace as I wrote it. And that was quite a surprise to me. And so that's how those 3 books came to be.
It's such a beautiful story because, as you know, I work with so many authors. I'm a publisher myself. And I believe some of the best materials come through when it's coming from someone's heart with a desire to serve. It doesn't matter what the topic is, but when it comes with that intention, there's power in that. Like, we teach the authentic storytelling model. It's a writing model we've used since I founded the company back in 2010, 12 years now. 240 authors have taken the class to be part of our anthologies. And that's exactly how you just described it. Is like the vision is like, share your truth with the intent to serve, kind of get out of your own way, let the words flow, let the editor take over from there. And then there's a depth of connection when the book or story goes out to the world because of that intent.
Yes, that's
That
right.
must be what you felt in your heart. You knew that when the books were done, you knew the energy at which you had created it. And that's what I think makes it sacred.
Yes, and the energy just keeps flowing and flowing, flowing. Books are forever. It's, if the vibration is strong, it will connect with people all over the world,
It's beautiful. Now, I have a question for you because you're also an intuitive life coach.
Yes.
So you see clients virtually from around the world. What led you to become an intuitive life coach, or was it just an organic unfolding?
An organic unfolding. I wouldn't call myself a life coach because I don't have formal certification, but I do call myself an intuitive life coach because I allow the highest wisdom that just seems to be channels out from inside out, and I allow it to happen. And I'm very grateful to have this unexpected gift, and it took me a few years to step into it, to like really own it and feel okay about saying that I'm an intuitive life coach, rather than saying I'm a life coach, because there are people that go to and get certificates and have gone to school, and I value them, but I also feel I have a gift as well, and I value that it's coming, from a high place, and it seems to help a lot of people when when messages just come through me. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, it's beautiful. A beautiful offering to offer the individuals in your life. Do you mostly work with women?
Yes, it happens that way. I think I'm more comfortable. It's not always that way. There are some men, but mostly women gravitate to me. Yeah.
And you're also a peace and spirituality educator. And I know that, that's a topic about peace that you're really passionate about.
I
So tell
am.
us a little about that, the work that you do in that realm.
My passion in peace probably goes way back to when I was a little girl and experienced a lot of bullying from being belonging to a minority religion in an area that didn't have many people that belonged to that religion, and a lot of bullying. And I, again, because I'm a dreamer, my imagination would save me, and I would make up plays and stories long into the night that created a different kind of world, and imagined, people, have a song called One Planet. We're all one people, one global nation, one planet. Together we can live. And so out of my pain, it is the result of my life's work for good. And it has helped to heal me, to have these different pathways, to help raise consciousness about embracing and embodying qualities, like empathy and compassion, kindness, respect, unity, acceptance. And so, yeah, out of the pain has come a lot of good, and has come my life's work. And now I belong to several organizations online, with Zoom being the way to meet people from all around the world. And they're all peace themed organizations, one of them being the Visioneers, that is based out of Calgary, Canada. And no, excuse me, not Calgary, Vancouver, Canada. And with Dr. Jerry Schwartz and Dr. Desmond Berghofer, who are the heads of it. And we're in the middle of a huge project of trying to create a new story for humanity and having a big event in October. And so we have people online once a month that brainstorm how this is going to happen. There's no actual set in stone plan, but we all trust that we're going to come up with something amazing where people will realize the goodness in the world and not just focus on the badness and the negative things. So that is a very satisfying place where I just feel like I have found my people, kind of thing. And there's another place based out of the Netherlands, with John Paul Close being the head person of it, co-creator of it, and it's called Sustainocracy, and kind of a combination. He made that word up, sustainability and democracy, and having a different world. So this is very imaginative and creative to think that we don't have to accept the world as is, and we don't have to have our lens only on the bad stuff, and that we have the power to create the good vibration, a higher vibration. And it's very exciting. It feels very active to do something like that. And yet within myself, I'm actually a quieter person in terms of being an activist. I have been on some marches, but that isn't my usual modality. My usual modality is to play my healing chakra bowls, the crystal bowls, and do thought transference and pray and send good out into, love out into myself and to, other people, and even toward people with whom I don't agree, especially those people. Send them the love. and the light that they may need. Because one of the things I realized when I wrote Peace Dreamer, because I told you that I had a deeper glimpse into what the truest meaning of love is that, everyone has a life story. And so whatever choices someone is making, I will not necessarily agree with what they're doing. I don't agree with violence in any way, but I have to also realize that they have a life story, a generational history. They have wounds, and their reactions are a result of all of that. And so I send them love as well. And so I do a lot of quiet work that I feel is active. It's just a different kind of activism.
Yes, I believe it's needed and just as important. I'm the same way. I do it from an energetic point of view. We're gonna take our next break, Melody, and we'll be back in a moment, everyone. I'm with Cheryl Melody Baskin. You can learn more at cherylmelody.com. We'll be right back.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Are you feeling the call to unleash your feminine wisdom, hone your empathic gifts, and rise as the goddess you are? You're not alone, my beautiful friend. Crystal Cockerham, spiritual mentor and certified red tent facilitator, trained in both shamanic and priestess practices, works with awakened, empathic women around the world to unlock their shackles of pain, shame, and self-condemnation so they can reclaim their sovereignty and liberate themselves from the world's perceptions. As the founder of Wisdom Awakens and an international best-selling author, Crystal uses her own intuitive blend of spiritual midwifery and energy healing to support women on their journey of transformation. You'll find supportive guidance and community in Crystal's programs, retreats, and sacred offerings. If you're feeling the call to embrace your feminine power, learn more about Crystal's supportive services at crystalcockerham.com.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Hailing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Hailing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Me, a cat moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm so grateful for your presence here today. With me is Cheryl Melody Baskin, which we lovingly call Melody, which she prefers. So Melody, you have like 9 award-winning albums. I'm like, oh my God, with positive messages for both adults and children. And I heard you mention earlier the bowls. Is it that type of music, like affirmational chants? Tell us a little bit about the style of music.
Well, thank you for asking about that side of me. I really appreciate it, Linda. Well, first of all, you can find that part of me under the name Cheryl Melody. My husband's always kidding me. He's telling me, what's your name now? But so the music part of me and the part that kids would always call me is Cheryl Melody. And so if you log on to iTunes or any streaming service, you'll find my music on there under that name. And so I first wrote created albums, and it's all my own songs. And by the way, I didn't know I could compose until I could compose. I mean, I had no clue that that was going to happen in my life. I saw myself strictly as a music teacher. And then all of a sudden songs started flowing through me at traffic lights and all of this. And they're all positive songs for self-esteem, character building, and inner peace and all of that. And so, anti-bullying, all of that. And so I started to create albums for children, and they did receive awards. And most of the songs encourage children to be their own best friend, just all of the things that really adults can use. I would also offer to children, but the adults and the parents seem to love it and need it just as much. And I need it just as much. Like, I have a song called The Friendship Song about being your own friend, your own best friend. And I have a chapter in, I think, Heart Dreamer, that's all about being your own best friend. So there's a lot of crossover. And then I started to do adult concerts that were healing in nature, spiritual in nature, helping people find more moments of inner peace and happiness. And I would write songs about that. And one of them, you're absolutely right, one of them is a whole album of positive affirmation chants that I make into chants. And that one is called Listen to the Whispers. Very powerful. It was very powerful making that. And then I also have a child album I wrote is called Lullabies of Love. And they are all songs for adults, nurturing the inner child within each adult. And it can also, everything can also be used to soothe any age, including children. But this particular album was devoted to giving adults their special lullabies that can help soothe them. So that's what that album was about.
It sounds so beautiful. And I love that, you're just a creative soul, but it all comes from the same vision and mission, spread love, spread peace, remind people of the truth of who they are.
Exactly.
And that's such a sacred gift. And I want to take a moment to mention that Facebook community again called Shift of Heart. It's a Facebook group. You just enter Shift of Heart on Facebook, and it will come right up. So let's continue that conversation. So now you've got your books written, you have your albums. Are you still producing new content in your albums and your music?
It's really crazy. I haven't figured this out yet, but when I started writing, I couldn't seem to integrate music in my life. I've sung less, I've composed much less. And when I'm writing, it's just a different part of my brain. But one of the things I do is integrate some of my material from my music into my books. So some of the poetry in my books are in my music are in my books as a kind of culmination of a chapter that has some relationship, to, for example, there's a poem I wrote called Follow Your Heart, and the chapter is all about that. So the end page would be that poem, that kind of thing. So, it's crazy. I am now almost making myself return to music because it's such a loss not to sing because it massages you from inside out. I always tell people they need to go ta-da, because that opens your heart chakra and then vibrates you from inside out. So I'm following my own advice, and I'm trying to leave some time to do that and to go to the synthesizer or my cello and start to compose again. But mostly when I write, it just takes that part away a little bit. And I don't know how to figure all that out. I
No,
just,
I think that's normal. I think it's normal because I'm a creative too, and when I'm getting in the flow of one, so in the flow that I can't switch gears like that.
oh, that makes me feel so much
Oh
better.
no, that's normal. For years I took private art lessons for 30 years from 9 years old up,
Wow.
and used to sell oil paintings, landscapes, seascapes. I haven't picked up a paintbrush in 29 years.
Oh, that makes
So
me feel so much better. So that's okay then I'm
yeah,
leaving.
that's part of it. That's your pattern for the creative flow. But I remember my art teacher telling me that because I would struggle. She goes, "No, when you're in the flow, you're not meant to leave the flow to try to go the other way. Just stay in the flow."
Yeah.
And then she said something like, "When the flow, the creative flow for that project for you, let's say it's writing," she goes, "You'll know when you come to the end of the river." Because then your energies will feel led to something else. She goes, but don't try to jump from the
Mm,
river into
for
the
sure.
flow of something else because you're going against nature.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I was
beautiful.
like 14 when she told me that because
Oh, I love it. I love it. I
I
love
was
it.
always, I'm a creative. So I'm a creative. Now my businesses, people think that businesses are 5 media brands. They're not to me. To me, they're not businesses. They're just other areas of how I develop my creativity and desire to serve.
That's right.
You
They're
know, and they
extensions of yourself. Yeah.
Yes, they've become businesses, but I never ever set out to be in business. I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years last month. Well,
Wow.
16 years with this brand, like Aspire Magazine, 16 years, the book publishing's 12, and then radio shows 6. Um, and before that, I had a retail store. I started right off welfare.
Wow.
One took
Wow.
$2,400. I opened with 700 square feet, no business or marketing knowledge. Taught myself everything. Within 18 months, we doubled the floor space, and I brought on a manager. By year 5, they backed me for a construction loan to build a 5,000 square foot superstore. We were one of the only upscale consignment shops ever allowed in a retail plaza. Retail meaning I was in with Joanne Fabrics, Sears, Home Life. Usually you're forced to go in the little pad sites, the little private
Sure.
owned sites. So I did that for 10 years. And again, back then, that was all about serving. I wanted to serve women and children because I remembered what it was like to be on welfare and not be able to afford office clothes for, when I was looking for a job or stuff for my daughter. And I started an upscale consignment shop that was created with love and intention to serve, and loved what I did. Kept that for
Um,
11 years. And then
that's-
went on a spiritual path, took a hiatus, and then founded Aspire Mag. So believe me, I get it. How you beautifully described your process and your feeling of, oh, why am I so blocked? You're not blocked. It's exactly how the creative flow is meant to be.
mhm.
So I'm glad that by sharing my story of how I connect with my creativity made you feel like you're not alone.
Yes, and it makes me feel more relaxed. So if I don't feel like singing, that's okay. If I don't,
Yes, it is okay.
if I just want to keep writing, that's okay. And I don't
Yes,
have
it
to
is.
have this feeling that I'm being pulled apart, or it's more of a should, because my whole
No, in the
life is
moment it's a
music.
should.
Yeah, you
You
shouldn't should
lose
on
it.
yourself. I know. I
Yeah,
know.
but on top of it, you can't be creative when you're in should energy.
That's right.
Because
You know what?
that's masculine, ego, fear-based energy, and creativity is the feminine, the flow, the trust, and the allowing.
That's right. What
And
I what I
go
love
ahead.
about your story is that it seems similar to my story, that out of your pain, has come
Oh
all
yes,
this good, and all this healing.
exactly. And
Beautiful.
Melody, before we go much further, we're going to take our last break, so I don't miss it. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, we can talk about that in the last 10 minutes that we have. So we'll be right back. Please visit Melody at CherylMelody.com. We'll be right back.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Are you struggling to grow your mission-driven business in a way that feeds your soul and fulfills your purpose? When you discover your unique human design and divine blueprint, you'll feel empowered in your business, aligned with your inner wisdom, and open to the flow of abundance and success. Nancy O'Keefe is a certified human design specialist and intuitive business coach, successfully coaching entrepreneurs for over 25 years. She is passionate about helping you understand your divine design and your personal formula for success. She knows what it takes after creating her own multi-7-figure firm. Nancy helps women peel back the layers of who they've been taught to be to reveal who they truly are, so they can build an abundant and sustainable business that feeds their soul. Schedule your complimentary call today at nancyokeefecoaching.com.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Circle of Hearts Radio is a sanctuary on the airwaves. Join me, Grandmother Elia, in the circle on Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, as I share information to both enlighten and nourish your soul.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
This is OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back, my friends. It's Linda Joy, and I am here today with Cheryl Melody. And Melody, you're exactly right. Right before the break, you said that you loved my story about how I turned my life, the pain, into my purpose. That's exactly what it is. I believe that we all have the power to transmute and change the story. I could have continued living the victim story. Runaway, high school dropout, welfare mom, trauma survivor, childhood trauma survivor. I chose a new script, right? And I'm not saying it was easy, but I made the choice in 1992 when I woke up and said, if people are telling me I can change the script, then I'm going to do whatever is in my power to go down that path. And it's been a winding, curving path, but guess what? I wouldn't trade any of my life now. I see that everything that ever happened to me is to place me right here in this moment, even in this moment with you.
Well, you are so inspiring, Linda. So inspiring. Yeah.
As you show, Melody, because so many of us, like I have Inspire Living University, and I have the Inspiration Lounge, as you know, on Facebook. And I just love reminding women of the truth of who they are. We are not our stories, right? We are not the labels that we choose. Like for years, I walked around, especially in my 20s. So to give a little perspective, I'll be 60 this year. And I can remember I wore the label, I'm a welfare mom, because to me there was shame, right? I'm a high school dropout. I'm a single mom at 22. Like you feel the weight of the label.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, what the frick? I'm the one giving myself these labels, and I'm attaching the energy to those labels. I am not any of those labels. Those are not who I am. They are just what I experienced. Right. And the moment I got that internal shift, which was probably when I really got it, was probably 25 years ago. And so for years, I wouldn't label myself in business for decades. NBC's flown me out to share part of my life story 20 years ago. I flew me out to NBC in Beverly Hills to do national talk show, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Wow.
And yeah, had a heck of a journey. So, but the reason I share that, I can remember in my businesses way back then, I wouldn't let anyone label me. Like, oh, she's an entrepreneur, or oh, she's award-winning, or I won Entrepreneur for the Year for the state of Mass. I had finally was getting to the point of not having a label, like the shame labels, welfare mom, etc. That I didn't want any label because I wanted to discover who I was as a soul, as a person, as a without the labels of the world. And
Right.
now, of course, because I've healed, I have labels. Like, I'm a best-selling publisher, I'm a mindset mojo mentor, I'm a sacred visibility catalyst, and I can own each one of them because I chose them.
Right.
You feel the difference? Can you
Oh,
relate to that now?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
And
there's an energetic difference of being applied a label,
yeah,
especially what we could consider a negative label, like welfare mom. Being a welfare mom, there is no shame in that. I am so grateful that that was there to support me in that time. But projections are put on us, and we take them on, right?
right.
And
Right.
so now I'm really passionate about helping women see the truth of who they are beyond the story and labels.
That's right. That's something I encourage everyone to in Shift of Heart and in my books is, to move beyond the labels and the badges that we wear. Even when we're sick, we are not our cancer. We are not, it's like move beyond that. You're a beautiful person who's blossoming like a sunflower and stepping into your butterfly spirit and flowing with the universe, and that's who you are, and trusting the mystical magic of the universe, and that's who you are, with no labels, just a free spirit, and that gets people out of their own prison of what they, the image they've created for themselves, or they feel that people have pinned on them. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so true. And that's why, I love having women on my show like yourself who everyone's journey, like every guest's journey is different. And of course, this story is different, but there's with just about every guest, I believe that each of their journey, their pain, their personal journey led them to the work that they're doing in the world. And I find that so fascinating, right? That when they look back at their life, they're like, no wonder I'm becoming a spiritual life, whatever it may be, spiritual life coach. Or they're like, all these little things that I thought were negatives in my life were really showing me where I needed to do my healing so I could go to the next part of my soul's journey. So, I mean,
Right.
I've been doing this 6 years. That's a lot of conversation. I've hosted 13 summits. So I've held what 500 sacred conversations with women, all entrepreneurs. And I love seeing the little red thread through women's stories. It just
Mhm.
fascinates me.
And it's such a joy to meet Linda Joy,
Oh, thank
because
you, my friend.
really it is, and I just really appreciate having this conversation. And it's about learning lessons and continuing to learn lessons and continuing to grow and heal, and using our pain for good, and all of those kinds of things. And this is why I like to be people's cheerleaders in their growth. And that nothing gives me more pleasure. And I was told once that if I hadn't gone through so many uh, challenges in my life, I wouldn't have the capacity I do to be as empathic and compassionate of other people's problems. And so I should be grateful for what I've gone through, so that it has led me to be an open-hearted person who can, cheerlead and help people rise beyond their label of themselves or their low self-esteem or whatever. Because I've been through many different grades of all of those types of things. So it's it all goes back to gratefulness, I guess, of
Oh, yeah.
everything we've gone through and where we are now and how we're going to keep on growing.
Yeah, and gratitude plays such a big part in my life. I remember picking up at that moment in time when I just woke up to the truth that I have the choice to choose the thoughts that come into me. It was 1992. I was sitting on the side of the road in my car, contemplating ending my life. I was Nikki was 6 years old, And I thought she'd be better off without me because I was having all the memories from childhood, but I didn't understand what they were. They're called flashbacks. But that day I was sitting there and I was cursing at the divine, which I didn't have a relationship with. And I'm like, I was just banging the steering wheel. My t-shirt was soaked. And I remember just deep pain. And all of a sudden I heard, it's the only time I've ever received that way. I receive other ways. The source said, Linda, the truth of who you are was never touched as a child. You choose the story that you carry. And you would think just hearing a message would be like, what the heck is that? No, it was hearing the word choice. Because when you're in a victim mentality and you're owning that story, you tell yourself you don't have a choice because it's easier than thinking you have a choice. And in that moment, I picked up a Dunkin' Donuts napkin, started writing, I want to feel love, I want to feel joy, I want to be able to trust people, And that such joy filled my body. I felt empowered because I'm like, I have a choice. I don't have to think these thoughts. This is not who I am. I didn't understand what it meant, Melody, right? I didn't understand. But something awakened in me. I started the car, left. A couple hours later, someone gave me the Louise Hay book, You Can Heal Your Life. And that started me on my path. It's 30 years 30 years in April that I awakened. And then I'm not saying it was easy to turn my life around and change my mindset, but that moment of choice changed everything. That's when I realized I can choose my thoughts. And then that started everything. So I have loved our conversation, circling up with you, hearing about your books, Peace Dreamer, Heart Dreamer, and Shift of Heart, of course. And I want to invite everyone again, please go to Facebook groups and do a search for Shift of Heart. It's a beautiful community of love, support, and hope. And you can learn more about Melody's work at CherylMelody.com. Stay connected with her. She's doing beautiful soul-inspired work in the world. And Melody, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Oh, my joy. My joy to speak with Linda Joy. And I tell you, you brought tears to my eyes just listening to your story, part of your story.
Yeah.
My heart is wide open right now, and thank you for sharing that. It's like a mutual interview kind of thing. Very beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. I'm so grateful for your presence here.
Thank you.
Until next time, my friends, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness. Blessings.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.